One of the highest leverage skills you can master is negotiating. In today's training, I'm going to teach you 14 easy negotiation secrets to always get what you want in every deal. Hey, I'm Mark Shan, founder of Bentley Consulting Group, in which we train and coach tech sales and B2B sales pros like you to blow up your sales targets, earn $250,000 to $500K plus, and become the lead sales pro you've dreamed of. Now, I've won thousands of deals over my almost 2-decade career, but I've also lost even more because I simply had not mastered these easy secrets. And we say at the very end, you'll learn my top secret that allows you to squeeze even more out of the deal while the prospect happily agrees. Let's dive in. Number 1, understand the buyer's motivation early. Effective negotiation starts with deep discovery. Uncover the buyer's true motivations and pain points to create leverage later in the process. The more you know up front, the better you can steer the conversation on the back end. It's going deep, and that's why I even created the powerful framework. That's uncovering the P, the pain, O, the opportunity cost or cost of inaction, the W, the wants, needs, and desires at a micro, macro level, the E, the executive level influence and buying process, the R, the resources or funds required to implement, the F, the fear of failure or doubt, the U, the unequivocal trust, and the L, the little things, standard buying criteria. If you understand what drives them at a deep level, you can leverage this when you're negotiating at the very end. Number 2, cultivate multiple stakeholders. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Building relationships with multiple stakeholders reduces your risk if one of your contacts goes sour or becomes resistant. It also gives you allies when negotiations get tough. And you want to focus on developing real champions that have pick. That's power, influence, and credibility. And they must be willing and able to sell on your behalf when you're not in the room. Number 3, engage the decision maker directly. Early in the sales process, you must multi-thread engage the economic buyer. Use this time to align on the value your solution provides with them on how it directly benefits them and their biggest initiatives, and set expectations for the negotiation phase. Because if you're engaging with them and you're trying to negotiate with lower level stakeholders, you'll have little leverage to actually close. Number 4, sell before you negotiate. So the mistake a lot of people make is they try to negotiate and working out pricing, terms, conditions, or whatever, way too early. Meaning, until you've been named the preferred vendor, your focus should be on selling why you are the best choice. Otherwise, whatever deal terms you get down to can be used against you to get better terms with other competitors. So let me give you a really simple example. This is years ago. I remember I was really excited. I had this great opportunity. It wasn't a big opportunity, maybe 20 or 30K, but I felt like we had great rapport. I ran the sales force relatively well, and I was waiting to hear back from them. And the stake decision maker, the actual owner of the company, emailed me and asked, can you take off 10%? Now, I knew within the selling rules we had at our company that I could do up to 20%. So I was excited, and I immediately replied back, yep, I can do that. Can we meet up and take care of the paperwork? And I'm all fired. I'm really excited. And of course, as you can probably imagine, did not hear back. The next day or the next week or so, I called, I emailed, I texted. I could not get a hold of this guy. And finally, this must have been, I don't know, maybe like a month later, I finally get an email back, and he basically had went with a competitor. And ultimately, I found out that he basically had taken the pricing I had given him a 10% discount, and he went to the other competitor, and he basically got the same deal and went with them instead. And this was a good example of where I did not sell well up front and actually lost the deal because I was not preferred vendor. So you want to sell first and secure a number 1 spot first before actually negotiating. Real negotiations come after you establish this position. Number 5, involve your champion in negotiations. So let's just say you're in a negotiating meeting with your prospect CFO. If you have a champion or champions in the opportunity, bring them on the call. Work together and build a plan to win the deal to get the CFO on your side in advance. When you bring a strong champion into your negotiations, it can shift the balance in your favor. They understand the value of your offer and can advocate on your behalf against procurement's pressure. Number 6, reiterate the value before discussing final pricing. Begin every negotiation by revisiting the business value. I personally recap in the following order. What we uncovered, the biggest problems, the desired outcomes, the overall cost of inaction, the solution and pricing. This sets the stage and reinforces the context of how big their problem is and why the investment is nominal in comparison. For instance, if I'm working with the sales VP and we've uncovered upfront they're currently losing $5 million a year in lost deals and a low win rate based on what they told me, well, if I'm sharing a $50K trading engagement to solve a $5 million problem, it's far easier to justify. Number 7, Pinpoint the exact reason for price resistance. So it's not uncommon, especially in today's time, to get the objection, hey, your price is too high, can you do a lower price? Now, instead of immediately trying to justify it, instead seek to understand. For instance, can you help me understand what's driving this specific pricing ask? This opens up the conversation and often reveals whether it's a genuine concern or just a negotiation tactic. For instance, I had a $200K deal and the prospect asked me to find a way to get down to $50K. Now, if I just took that at face value, that would appear to be like a 75% reduction. So instead, I dug in and found out he had $50K left in his current fiscal year budget, but another $200K in the next year, which started in 3 months. By understanding that, it helped me realize it wasn't a pricing objection, but more of a logistics objection of figuring out payment terms. By diving deeper, we were able to come to terms of billing out $50K this fiscal and spreading out the remainder $150K after the new fiscal year starts 3 months later. This is the power of uncovering the why behind the ask. Number 8, establish your walkaway point in advance. Before negotiations start, know your bottom line. Know the lowest price point or terms and conditions that you're willing to go down to get the deal. If you don't have a predefined walkaway point, you risk agreeing to potentially unfavorable terms in the heat of the moment. But also keep in mind, that doesn't have to be your immediate price you drop to. For instance, when I was working in corporate, we had pricing flexibility go down 20% on pricing and down to 36 months on term. So intentionally, I was pricing out 10% above the standard price. This now gave me a 30% buffer to actually work with. I can negotiate down 10 to 15% and still be far ahead because of that buffer. In term, I'll leave with 72 months, aka 6-year terms, knowing I had anywhere from 36 to 72 months to actually land. So know your walkaway point in advance, but be aware you can negotiate anywhere in between. Number 9, keep asking questions. When you're uncertain during negotiation, fall back on asking questions. This keeps the dialogue going, and that can often lead to new insights that can help you close the deal. So here's some really easy prompts you may want to write down. Can you elaborate on that? When you say X is important, can you tell me more? What do you mean by that exactly? So seek to understand the why behind the why. Number 10, frame the conversation around outcomes, not features. One of the biggest mistakes most make is they hop on a call to review a proposal or pricing with a prospect, but the entire focus, it's all on pricing and deliverables. So any discussion on value has been forgotten. So instead, start the conversation towards the outcomes your solution delivers rather than getting bogged down with features. And that sounds something like this. Hey, so Lisa, in our conversation last week, you had shared that your team currently has a 5% win rate with enterprise deals, which is ultimately leading to $5 million in lost deals just in the past 12 months. Is that right? Boom. So the focus of our training solution, it will be to help your team scale up and to increase your win rates to a team average of a conservative 20%, which will generate $2 million in additional top line and $800K in bottom line. And we're going to do it by focusing on targeting 3 core skills: powerful discovery, masterful demos, and deal management mastery. So you can see in this example here, I'm shifting the focus away from features of cost to actually pure value, which makes it harder to argue over price. Number 11, use silence strategically. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in negotiation. When you sense hesitation or pushback, don't rush to fill the silence, just pause and ask a clarifying question like I mentioned prior. Then shut it. Let them speak, as they may reveal critical information or concede more than you expect. Or sometimes they'll even start talking themselves into it as they process it mentally. Number 12, negotiate non-monetary terms. Sometimes monetary terms aren't the only negotiable aspects. Consider offering flexible payment terms, additional support, or a pilot program as part of negotiation. These can create an added value for your buyer without reducing your price. The key is walking into the call knowing what levers you can pull if needed. For instance, I had this $50K deal, and I could tell this prospect was just one of those people who loved to negotiate. I'm sure you probably have had similar prospects, like literally always wanting more. Now, because I was really firm on my price and knew my walk away point, I was able to offer a free trial premium features for up to 30 days. Not only did he take me up on when we closed it, we upsold the premium features 30 days later as he loved it so much. So as a really easy action, just take 20 minutes and brainstorm all the gives that you can give, as it may help you secure the deal. Number 13, anchor the negotiation with a high starting point. Set the stage by anchoring the conversation with a strong initial offer. You heard my example earlier of actually going 10% above the standard price and to start along with a 6-year term. This gives me a lot of room to make concessions while still landing at a favorable and profitable deal. You can do the same thing from pricing, terms, onboarding fees, or whatever your creative mind comes up with. Number 14, build reciprocity into the negotiation. Now, let's be real here. There will be time that you will need to concede on something. This could be price, terms, extra things, whatever. But here's the thing. When you do concede on something, always ask for something in return. So you want to clarify first that's the only thing holding them back. So that sounds something like, hey, John, so if I understand you right, if I can trim off 10%, you're ready to take care of the paperwork and partner together. Is that right? Let's assume they say yes. Okay, got it. Listen, I'll only do under 2 conditions. Number 1, we take care of the paperwork today. We start helping your team crush it. And number 2, you type an intro email to Melinda, your VP counterpart on the mid-market teams, to refer us or train their teams. Are you good with that? Boom. Very, very simple. Now, again, whatever you ask for can be anything. This could be increasing the length of the agreement, receiving referrals, or like in my example, introductions to other divisions, departments for expansion. This creates a sense of balance and fairness in the negotiation, ensuring that both sides feel like they're winning. Even small concessions can be leveraged to secure bigger wins. So there you have it, 14 negotiation secrets to always get what you want. If you want our help to help you negotiate and close more deals, head below, book a call with my team so it's a good fit for our coaching programs. And if you want to see exactly how one of my clients is negotiating massive deals and earning 100K commission checks like clockwork, I'll see you in this next video right here.